Who is this second victim in the Diddy trial named Jane? Now, I told y'all that I was going to come back and give y'all a video on Jane in this Diddy docuseries that I'm doing based off of the transcripts from the trial itself. So now let's talk about Jane. By the way, Jane is not her real name, okay? But a woman whose story is at the center of the most explosive hip hop RICO trial in entertainment history. Okay, that's what I'm going to start calling this from now on, a hip hop RICO trial, because baby, that's exactly what this is. All right. So now Jane was a single mom, and she was a woman who fell fast and hard for Diddy in 2020. In the middle of the panoramic, she found love. What is love? Okay, let me not start. Um, but what started as love for her turned into control, rugs, and a dark series of events that spiraled into violence, blackmail, and sexual trafficking. Child, this is the story of Jane, and we are about to pour it up.
Don't make money, then it don't make sense. You don't make money, then keep it 2 cents. Hating on me, cause the bitch gotta get it. They mad cause the bank account got 7 digits.
So what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the bar. It's your girl Henny, and I'm about to pour plenty of those hot shots of court docs that y'all love to throw back. So if you're new here, welcome. Please be sure to like, comment, and of course subscribe. Click the notification bell, select all so that you get notified whenever I do a video. And if you are a returning Mob Down Henny Gang member, yeah. Now let's get into this hot court doc. Now, I am going to be reading directly from the transcript for you the story of Jane. Yes, I am. Because we need to find out who Jane is before Jane even goes in to testify. Because at some point in time, she is going to go in and be called by the government to testify against Diddy. So there's no need for me to make a summary of this or any of that, because it is the whole story in the transcript. And she has both the prosecution's perspective of the story and the defense's. And I'm going to read them all for you. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, Jane was a single mom who started spending time with Diddy in 2020. And Diddy pursued Jane romantically, and she fell in love with him quickly. Jane did not see any other men, but Diddy was seeing other women at the time. So his relationship with Jane was not at all public, okay? For the first few months, their Sleg's life was just the two of them, and Jane was happy. That was until Diddy introduced Jane to freak offs, okay? He introduced her to the freak offs. One night when they had already taken rugs and had been having legs for hours, Diddy told Jane about freak offs. Jane agreed to try one to make him happy. And to her surprise, Diddy said he would make it happen immediately. And that very same night, Diddy took us to a hotel where the room was already set up and an escort was on the way. Jane was nervous, and Diddy directed her step by step, just like we heard he had done for Cassie, y'all, okay? Jane thought the first freak off was the one time, a wild night, but Jane was wrong, okay? Jane was completely wrong, because now that she had agreed to do this one, she showed him hook, line, and sinker. He could get her. Now, the defendant continued asking Jane, Diddy, to have freak offs and promising that if she did, he would spend quality time together with her. And they would go on dates together. They would go on trips. That was what Jane wanted more than anything, a real relationship with him. So she agreed. So now he's dangling this relationship in front of her eyes like it's a piece of candy. Like, you want this relationship? You want this relationship? Come give me a freak off first. So she agreed. She helped plan the freak offs and reach out to the escorts. But even though Diddy promised her quality time and trips, he never delivered. Are you surprised? Let me know in the comment section. Are you surprised? Those were just lies he told her to get more nights in dark hotel rooms with escorts. All right. Jane herself, like I said, she's supposed to be testifying. So they said Jane will tell you about those nights in detail, how she wanted the escorts to wear condoms, but many times the defendant did not let them. So Diddy was like, no gloves. Her? Baby, I wouldn't have been letting that go down. Like, I don't know you. First of all, I wouldn't have been in the room for a freak off. I'm just saying. I wouldn't have been in the room for a freak off. No judgment. We reading and we don't judge, and y'all are listening and we don't judge. But I know some of y'all are gonna judge anyway, because the Henny Gang does not know how to act. All right. Uniquely cue the prompt for the disclaimer in the chat when you see this so I can pin it. Anyway, Jane will tell you how he had her take rugs to stay awake and aroused for days. Jane tried twice to make it through these nights without the rugs. First time she broke down and took E to finish performing for Diddy. The second time, Jane vomited after having legs with one escort. How did Diddy respond? He told Jane to hurry up and get back in the room where another escort was on the way. Now, I read this during my live last night, and I'm just going to say this because we got to do this video for the series. But, baby, ain't no way you finna tell me after I done vomited to hurry up and get in the room because there's another dude on the way. I'm sick from screwing the first one. I'm just saying. Anywho, let's continue. Early on, Jane told Diddy that she didn't like freak offs. She just wanted to be alone with him. She loved him desperately and wanted a real relationship with him. Diddy didn't listen. Feeling stuck and sick of strangers, Diddy kept bringing to the hotel rooms. Jane tried to assert herself in small ways. She found two men who performed in pornography and she invited them to join the freak offs. That way, Jane could at least choose the other men that she was going to be forced to be intimate with. Like he did with Cassie, Diddy eventually took steps to control Jane financially. Diddy wanted Jane available to meet with him at a moment's notice, and he discouraged her from working. Jane's income plummeted. Diddy gave Jane money and later started paying the rent for her house that she lived in with her child. Now, pause. You want her at your beck and call, but she has a child that she had to take care of, and you paying the rent. And you don't want her to have a job. So you taking care of her and her child as blackmail. That's diabolical work. That's diabolical. Jane, where your baby daddy at? Just say, where your baby daddy at? Okay. That way, when Jane resisted the freak off and told him over and over that she wanted to stop, he had power to coerce her back into the hotel rooms. And just as he had with Cassie, Diddy threatened Jane with videos he recorded of her engaging in acts with the escorts. But lies and the rugs and the threats were not the end of it. Not even a year ago today, Jane had the worst day of her life. Diddy came to Jane's house for an at-home date night. She and the defendant, which is Diddy, argued about another woman that Diddy had been seeing. Jane was upset and jealous. She had now spent years in hotel rooms, forced to have slags, while Diddy took his other girlfriends on dates and trips. Jane hit Diddy and threw things at him. Diddy became enraged. So Jane tried to get away from him and hide. She ran to the bedroom and locked the door. He kicked the door in. Bang! She ran to the bathroom door and he locked the door. Bang! He kicked it open. She ran to her closet and locked the door. Bang! He kicked it open. She ran to the guest bedroom and locked the door. Bang! He kicked it open. That's 4 damn doors in my house that you done kicked open. Boy, I hope you fixed them doors and made them back better than what they was before. But now here's the kicker. Because when she tried to run out the front door, he grabbed her and choked her, lifted her off the ground by her neck, and kicked her to the ground. Later on that night, they fought again. And just as he had with Cassie, Diddy viciously attacked Jane. He punched her in the face, kicked her while she was curled up in a ball on the ground, dragged her by her hair and her arm, and slapped Jane so hard she fell to the floor. When all of this was over, Diddy still didn't let Jane be. Instead, he told Jane, "You're not going to F up my night." Diddy instructed her to put on an outfit and call up an escort for a freak off. You just kicked her behind, put hands, feet, and knee bows on her, and now she got to get dressed and call up an escort. Jane followed his instructions. Like with Cassie, Diddy's violence had gotten him what he wanted. And Diddy's sexual violence didn't stop at freak offs, though. Cassie will tell you about the time when he forced himself on her, having slegs with her as she cried repeatedly and told him no. Okay. Now, let me go ahead because let me tell you what I did do with these documents. Anything that is highlighted in purple, we are reading it. Yes, we are. Okay. And what we are reading, if you are just coming into this video, is we are reading AUSA Johnson's opening statement where it refers to Jane. All right. The defendant, Diddy, is also charged separately for slaves trafficking Cassie and Jane through force, fraud, or coercion. Again, the judge's instructions control, but I expect you'll learn that fraud includes a lie about a material fact, coercion includes threats, and force involves violence. Diddy is charged with using all three tactics to make Cassie and Jane participate in days long, drug fueled, recorded sexual encounters with male escorts against their will. Finally, he is charged with transporting Cassie, Jane, and male escorts across state lines for these sexual encounters. The government will prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that Diddy is guilty of these crimes. You'll hear the witness, including Cassie and Jane, two of the defendant's victims. They'll tell you how the defendant tried to control their lives from their homes to their careers, how Diddy used his control over them, his lies, his rugs, his threats, his violence, his force, and to coerce them into having slaves with male escorts. This man was just, he was just, call him the Pied Piper. Or maybe you can't because he wasn't laying pipe, but he was tinkling on people. That is just nasty. Anyway, Cassie and Jane will describe freak offs for you in painstaking detail. They will tell you some of the most personal and painful experiences of their lives, the days they spent awake in hotels, high on rugs, dressed as characters to perform Diddy's fantasies, okay? Just as he directed them to do. You will see dozens and dozens of text messages about freak offs, including messages from Diddy to his staff asking for more cash to pay the eggs workers. You little egg worker. Messages where Diddy tells Cassie what rugs to take and when before a freak off. A message from Jane to him telling him over and over again she didn't want to do freak offs. And you'll see videos of some of the freak offs, the videos that Diddy used to blackmail Cassie and to blackmail Jane. Those videos capture just small parts of these days long performances. In them, you could hear the defendant providing direction to Cassie and Jane. And you'll see Cassie and Jane do exactly what the defendant tells them to do. So while he's not on these videos, sure, not visually, you could hear him. He is acting like he is a porn director. Like, somebody look up and see if there is a bad boy porn video place. Like, I just need to know, because that's what directors do. They got the film going and they telling you what to do and how to walk and how to pose and how to this and how to that. He's just really directing. I can't. Like, this is crazy work. Like, can you imagine? I cannot imagine. First of all, I don't know about all of this because most men I know do not want to share. They don't want to share. And Diddy, well, then again, in one of the lawsuits we did hear, matter of fact, it was the one with him and Aaron Hall. And there was another one where they said that Diddy's member was prepubescent. Maybe that's why he wanted to see the ladies be satisfied. Bad Diddy, bad. Anyway, you will see them put on a performance high on ecstasy, where they pretended to enjoy themselves because that's what the defendant said he wanted. You will see for yourself the defendant's violence in this aftermath. You will see video capturing Diddy brutally beating Cassie during a freak off at an LA hotel. You will see photos of Cassie and her injuries from Diddy's assaults. You will hear from witnesses who saw Diddy assault Cassie or saw injuries he inflicted on her. You will see photos of the damage that Diddy did when he kicked in 4 doors at Jane's house. And you will see videos of Jane with bruising still on her face days after Diddy attacked her and forced her to do a freak off, not even a year ago. Okay. You will hear recordings of phone calls when Diddy called Jane after Cassie had filed her lawsuit. You will hear him. You will hear him try to manipulate Jane into saying she wanted to have a damn freak off. I know this man ain't still trying to have, he was still trying, but they said when they arrested him that the man had freak off supply. And so he was, okay. Cha. You will hear him interrupt Jane as she pushes back. You will hear Diddy thinly veiled references to continuing to pay for Jane's home in exchange for her silence. So he's like, look, we finna have this little freak off. And I know that I just had this widely publicized case with Cassie. I don't already took care of that. You know what I'm saying? Money is nothing. I'm a billionaire. I'm part of the Billionaire Boys Club. You just promised that you're going to keep your mouth shut and I'm going to keep paying your rent, but you got to give me these freak offs. Come on, baby. You sound like you Jones. Come on. Come on, baby. Give me my fix for the freak off, JD Boo. I'm just anyway, you will see the text messages that Diddy sent to his chief of staff right after talking to Jane to make sure Jane's rent would still be paid. The evidence will come in piece by piece, and you won't always it won't always come in chronological order. By the end of the trial, when you see and hear all of the evidence, you will see how it all fits together. You will see how it proves that Diddy led and controlled an enterprise that enabled him to and others working for him to commit many crimes, how it proves that he forced and coerced Cassie and Jane into slegs with male escorts, including by having them travel to other states and countries so those slegs acts could happen. And you will see how all of these crimes and the empire the defendant controlled were designed to fill his sexual desires, to protect his reputation, and keep his power. I gotta say, Miss Johnson. Oh, her name is Johnson. Like Johnson, baby old Johnson. Don't pay me no mind, y'all. It's about that time. I am still recording and I am getting sleepy, but now we're gonna get into Diddy's side, because I'm gonna tell you how this is going down, right? So you have the prosecution, which is the government, and they're getting Jane's side, and then the defense is telling Diddy's side of the story. And baby, let me tell you something. The Diddy side of this story is really, really foul. It's really foul. Like he really plays in Jane's face like she was nobody. Okay. Now, this is what Miss Gregarios said, Diddy's defense lawyer. All right. She said the government talked a lot about Jane, right? That's what she said. She's another woman that the government alleges Combs and slaves trafficked. She was his girlfriend for 3 years. And she comes into his life several years after the Cassie breakup. I think you will find in the evidence is a little bit different in 2020 and 2021 than he was when he was dating with Cassie. And I think the most important reason you will see is that he was more upfront about his dating life rather than saying that he was only dating one person. He was very upfront with Jane. I expect her to tell you that he was dating multiple different women. Well, the prosecution already told us that. So I guess Jane is going to go ahead and testify to that. I mean, you're stating the obvious, Miss Gregarios. Anyway, however, as I stated My as I started my opening statement, this did not stop the jealousy. Jane's relationship with Diddy was plagued by jealousy. Their relationship was not the 11-year public romance that Diddy had with Cassie, okay? The problem is that Jane wished that it was. Now, what you got to remember is when we're reading this right here, you got to remember that Gregarios is shady. She comes off shady. Or maybe it's just me because of the character that I built in my head, right? Because she's the defense attorney. So she's there to protect and serve for Diddy. So she not going to be so nice about it. And this ain't so nice right here. She going to say it is not the 11-year relationship that he had with Diddy with Cassie that was so public. But Jane wished it was. Ooh, the shade, honey. The government told you that their relationship was not public, which they did. You're going to hear from Jane why that was. Why you can't tell us what it was, girl? We nosy. You done brought us this far down the road. You might as well just go ahead and give it up. Why wasn't it? Why you ain't telling us, Gregorio? Anyway, there were many different reasons why that was. And so after a period of time, their relationship became primarily sex. So she said, Diddy told me, this is what she said. She said, Diddy told me that you wished your relationship was public. And after a while, it just became sexual for him. That's it. You was just a booty call. Like you was another freak off girl. This ain't funny. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mm-mm. Jane is also older than Cassie was when she started dating Diddy, and she was living her own life in a different state, raising her child. She is capable, strong adult woman. She is a capable, strong adult woman. So that means that she deserved to be played with by Diddy. Is that what you? I know that ain't what she's saying, but anyway. And you're going to hear, as I suspect, that you've already heard that pretty soon after her relationship with Diddy started, she brought up the idea of whether she whether she would want to have slaves with other men. That don't even make sense. Then again, if you what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So maybe she was playing that role, saying, oh, well, you over there, you doing what you doing. Why I can't be doing what I'm doing, what I want to do, what I want to do. Like, what's that? What's bad? I'm sorry, I'm sleepy. I'm sorry, I'm sleepy. That's all I can say. Anyway, again, like a consensual threesome. And Diddy would watch. She agreed, and they went to a private hotel room away from his employees, away from family. And I expect that she will testify that she enjoyed that night. She laid down on the couch after and said to herself, like, wow, I can't believe I just did that. If she said it to herself, how do you know that's what she said? The shade of it all. Now, do y'all see why I'm reading Gregorio shady? Because she come off shady. You a female watching this, you know what I'm talking about because you see it. Honey. And you will see that Diddy really began to love these hotel nights with her. And I expect that she will testify that she began to do anything possible to make these nights incredible for Diddy. That includes finding the best male entertainment to join them, to wear the outfits he would find the sexiest, and saying all the things during these nights that would excite him. I think she meant to say she would find the outfits. I don't know. I expect she would testify that she did this because she loved him. She was desperate to spend time with him, to be with him, and ultimately to give him something none of the other girlfriends that he was dating at the time were giving him. Child, how do you know that? So wait a minute, pause. Pause. So she was messing with while he was messing with Young Miami? Was Young Miami not giving him the freak offs? Ooh, child. Mm-hmm. Well, she will tell you that she tried many times to change the tenure of the relationship from one of purely sexual nature to something maybe deeper and more meaningful. I'm not sure exactly how she would put that to you, but she will testify that it always came back to what they would call parties, which were these nights in hotel rooms. And the evidence will show you that she did it over and over again for 3 years because she made the choice. And this became their time together. This became their sledge life. And I expect that she will testify that she recognized that if she didn't have these hotel nights with Diddy, they may not have get they may not they may not get their alone time, which is what she so desperately craved. Now pause, because the defense is just, you're not you sitting up here and you aligning with what the government just said. You realize that, right? That he was using these freak offs and dangling them in her face in order for her to get what she wanted, but she never got what she wanted because all he wanted was these freak offs and she kept giving them to him. Yeah, you just admitted to that. Yeah, you did. I expect she would tell you that she kept coming back over. Okay, we read that already. No, no, no. Again, because she did it for the affection. She did it for the love, for the cuddle, and because she knew it would make him happy. And she wanted more than anything to make him happy. She was unable to resist him emotionally, and her desire to be with him outweighed all other considerations of her. Child, so you saying that she was doing this because she was blind by love and she was desperate for this man, so she was willing to do anything just to be with him. Even after seeing, child, the government told you about a phone call they had in November of 2023 and did. I expect the evidence will show you that even after this phone call, she continued. She flew out to see him many more times and continued willingly engaging in these nights. The evidence is going to show you a toxic and dysfunctional relationship between two individuals. And you may think to yourself, wow, he is a really bad boyfriend. But the evidence is going to show you that she is a capable, strong woman who willingly engaged in their slag's life so they could spend time together. Now, I know that it is her job. I know it's her job to defend Diddy, but this right here, keep saying she's a strong and capable woman. Strong and capable woman. What does that mean? Like, why you keep saying that? Because she's a single mom and she was handling her business, that means that she's strong and capable, and that means that she's not susceptible to falling in love and being with somebody who's taking advantage of her, or getting with somebody who may be taking advantage of the fact that maybe she has a little bit of self-esteem, and then here comes this billionaire that's interested in her, and she feel like, oh wow, I got something that's what you not looking at the power structure and the dynamics of this and how this man used financially. Never mind, Henny, shut up. Okay, we gonna be quiet. Oh, we can't because we gotta read the court docs. That's right. All right. I expect her to testify that she was a willing participant, and being a willing participant in your own slag's life is not slaves trafficking. I expect her to to also testify that there were nights she engaged in the slags because she hoped she could turn their relationship from one of more sexual relationship into something more. And she will testify that if she walked away, she would have lost him. That is not something she was willing to do. And as I said, you will see her jealousy on full display at this trial. And you will see that she was willing to engage in these nights with Combs. And then she would be on social media after. And she would see he was with another one of his girlfriends, either out to dinner or traveling. And she would send messages with regret afterwards. These are born out of jealousy, which was the root of their troubles. And regret doesn't mean that she was coerced. Her jealousy drove her to make the moves that she made. Really. This interesting, ain't it? This very interesting. How they paint two different pictures. So where's the responsibility for Diddy? Because let's say that the defense is telling the truth and that this is how this woman was behaving. Why would you continue to take advantage of this woman? That don't make sense to me. If you knew that she wasn't wrapped too tight because she was so head over heels in love with you, why you kept bringing her back? Why she kept getting flued out to these freak offs? Huh? Huh? Gregarios? Huh? The government also told you about a night a year ago where Jane hit Diddy. Once again, as I said, this was a night born out of jealousy. You will hear, as you have already heard, that he also hit her back. But what you didn't hear was the start of the fight. She was overcome by jealousy that night. She slammed his head on her kitchen counter. This is how the fight started. I don't want to justify this night. I do not want to justify the assault, but I simply am here to tell you that the evidence will show you that it starts because she slams his head onto her kitchen counter. You don't want to justify it, but you're justifying it. That's like saying, I don't mean no disrespect, but proceed to disrespect somebody. Child. And you're also going to hear that less than a month or approximately a month after this assault, an incident of domestic violence at her home, she flew to Diddy's home in Miami. She called an escort and had what I expect her to say was one of the best hotel nights that she had with one of their regular escorts. Mhm. Are you mad? Do y'all feel a way about the way Gregarios is painting this picture, or do you agree with her? Y'all can agree with her. I'm just saying she being shady, so I got to be a little shady when I read it. You know what I'm saying? If you're new here, be sure that you subscribe and lean on the like while you're down there. Now, during the testimony of both Cassie and Jane, I expect the government is going to put a bunch of videotapes of so called freak offs or hotel nights or wild king nights, however you would like to call them, into evidence. These videotapes depict what we've been telling you about Sean Combs, one of his girlfriends, and a man. These videos, we believe, are powerful evidence that the sexual conduct in this case was consensual and not based on coercion. Baby, when I tell you she was laying it on thick, I don't think she said anything else, but I'm going to, yeah. So, this is what they had to say about Jane. Now, again, remember, her name is not Jane for real. But I suspect that we are going to be meeting Jane very soon. I don't know if she's going to come in after Cassie finishes testifying or if they're going to hold off and wait and bring some of the escorts in. I don't know. But I would be very interested in hearing Jane's version of events and seeing Jane underneath cross-examination. Because as you heard, the government has a different picture of her than the defense, and that's how it's supposed to be. But again, like I said, opening statements are very important because they lay out for you how these people are going to be handled when they're up there on the witness stand. So we know that the prosecution is going to be going for, tell us about how your relationship was. They're going to be more of an empathetic person, and the defense is going to come in probably like a world storm. Gregarios is probably going to be, shady, because she's shady in her opening statement. Yeah. So she's probably going to be a little shady, but she's going to be like that nice, nasty about it. You know what I'm saying? And, I want to see this interaction. Plus, I just want to get a look at who this Jane woman is, because the defense, they get their story from Diddy. So this means this is how Diddy viewed her. And the prosecution, they got their story from Jane. And this is how Jane viewed things. So it's very interesting how this dynamic is so different and how no accountability is in there. I mean, it's not supposed to be, but at the same time, it's like the things that you're saying when you know about healthy accountability and people taking responsibility for their actions is a real thing. You be looking like I'm looking like, but let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And also let me know what you think about this video. Are you feeling the Diddy docuseries videos that I am doing? Did you learn some information about Jane? And are you interested in who the heck this woman is and what the heck is going on? Because baby, I'm interested. I want to hear. I told you this trial is getting juicy. But anyway, Jane's story, I'm going to tell y'all right now, it's not about regret. It's about control. From what I'm seeing, it's also about power. It's about how a man she loved used slaves, rugs, money, and violence to trap her. And then it's also the other side of the story where it's like, well, ain't no love in the city over here. As far as I was concerned, this is what this was about. So I don't know. I mean, I have questions. Was Jane just another girlfriend in a dark relationship? Or was she a victim of federal crimes, trafficking, manipulated, and silenced? Or was she just a jealous, out of control booty call that didn't know where her limits and lines were and she kept trying to cross those boundaries? Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Thank y'all for tapping in and tuning in, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.